Thank you for checking out Hoops Hidden Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. This is episode number 33. I want to thank you guys for joining us as usual and hanging with us since last November. We're going on almost a year of being online, and thank you everybody for basically coming on. It's been a pleasure. We got a great show as usual. We're going to kick off the show tonight with a Juco coach from the D2 side. We have the head coach, Aaron Barnes from from Howard Community College in Columbia, Maryland. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming on. And one of the big things I advocate for every division, whether it be JUCO, D1, D2, D3, or independent. I advocate for women's basketball in the D1, D2, D3, and NAI level. And actually, you're our first, if I'm not mistaken, you're our first JUCO D2 coach that we had come on the show. And, I just want to educate people about JUCO D2 that are not familiar with it. So we're going to talk about that process. But let's talk about you as the coach, and let's start with your experience. This is your first year, correct?
It is. This is my first year as head coach at Howard. Actually, my fifth year being here and my second stint at Howard.
Okay.
My very first coaching opportunity came at Howard Community College back in 2012, before I even knew that I really wanted to coach.
Okay. And you said this is your second stint here. And where were you at previously in between those stints?
So I was at Howard for 2 years, and then I was a graduate assistant as well as director of basketball operations at University of Louisiana Monroe in Monroe, Louisiana. It's
Yeah.
about 4 hours from New Orleans. It's a small town, not something that a lot of people hear about, but the
Yeah.
food was still really good down there.
Oh yes, ULM. I'm very familiar with
Yeah.
ULM, and I know Coach Scott down there on the men's side. So yeah, definitely, I'm very familiar with that. But let's kick right off let's talk about JUCO D2 and the difference with JUCO D2 and the difference in JUCO D1. Now, as we all know, JUCO D1s, most of them give out full scholarships. For JUCO D2, how does that work when somebody comes to your program?
For Division II, we do offer athletic aid. We can offer full scholarships, but more often than not, it is partial. We try to spread the money out amongst the young ladies as best as we can. And also, we take into account the need that people have as well. So,
Mhm.
along with their Pell money that they may be awarded, they are able to get athletic aid that will cover their tuition and books as well.
Okay. So usually, does Howard offer any academic money as well for a 3.5 or a 3.0 and up, something to that extent?
We actually do. We have what's called a main scholarship fund, and there's scholarships for many, many different things. So they have some for GPA, they have some based on the major or program that you want to be in, they have some for minority, they have some if you're out of county, out of state. So we have a lot of different scholarship opportunities that people could possibly get some money from us, and grades, like I said, minority programs, a lot of different ones. It's probably like over 75 different ones that you can apply for. And
Wow.
there's no limit on the number. So if you are eligible or fall in that category for all those different ones, you're able to apply for all of them.
Okay. And so let's say I apply for all of those and I go over what tuition and housing on the need is. Do I get a refund?
You will. You will get a refund on whatever you get back. So with us being Division II, we are not able to cover housing. But if you were to get a refund back, you're able to use that money to go towards an apartment that is close to campus or wherever you so choose to stay.
Okay, nice. I like that. I like that. So, what type of majors do they offer at Howard Community College? And better yet, let me ask this: what do most of your team major in? Do they go undecided, or is there something in particular that they like to major
We have many, many different programs, and that's one of the great things about Howard is Our academic side, we have some great resources. We offer great programs. We have a really good nursing program. We have a dental hygiene program. We have
Uh-huh.
exercise science. We have different computer programs. We have business. We have a lot of different ones, criminal justice, psychology. And our girls, they're pretty spread out. Some do general studies who are not too sure what they want to major in yet. So, with
Mhm.
that one, they're able to take a lot of different classes from different programs to try to see if that sparks any interest for them. So, some do general studies. We have a few exercise science young women. We have some business majors. We have some computer science majors. So we have a good pot. We have hospitality, interior design. So we have a good what would I say? A good range of majors, and even on our team, a lot of different majors.
Okay. So let me ask this from an educational standpoint. The 2 year degrees at Howard, is there anything special that they have set up with the 4 year schools in the state of Maryland where they can just go straight in?
We actually do. So if you get your AA from Howard, you are automatically accepted into any Maryland state school. So University of Maryland, you can go to Eastern Shore, Salisbury, Coppin, Morgan, all those different ones if you would obtain your AA from Howard Community College.
And does that include, well, that's a good question. I'm about to ask. What about Howard? So, since that's technically the DMV or not?
No, unfortunately, it's only for Maryland schools, and with Howard being Washington, D.C., it does
Yeah.
not fall into that category.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I kind of like that. One other quick question as well. Does Maryland have, like in Georgia, we have the Hope Scholarship for any Georgia kids that want to stay in state? Does Maryland have a program like that as well?
We do. It's called the I Promise scholarship, where you're able to go to community college for free if you're a recent graduate right out of high school or within a certain amount of time.
Hmm.
There is some exceptions. You have to fall within a certain financial category and things like that, but they do have a similar program here as well.
Okay, so basically, you have your athletes could take the ones that are from Maryland per se. They could take advantage of that. I promise with their Pell. Do you guys have work study? Let me ask that.
We do have work study as well. We do have internship programs as well.
Wow.
Anything you can think of, we have. Like our school, for a while, they were wanting to turn it into a 4 year school because of the type of resources and programs that we offer. But they decided to keep it at a 2 year school to keep it more affordable for those that need it. And that's a great thing. I think a lot of people don't take into consideration is the amount of money that you can save at a 2 year school, because the first 2 years you're taking a lot of electives more often than not. So
Hmm.
you can come to Howard and take your electives for 2 years, and then when you go on to your next school, you're able to get right into your major because you've already done those electives in your first 2 years, and you get to save yourself or your parents or whoever it is a whole lot of money.
Now, as one of the listeners, and for us outside of Georgia, as I said, I'm from Pittsburgh, but I'm very familiar with the DMV area. You kind of have the cheat code because DMV has some really good women's basketball, really good.
We do.
So, that gives you the opportunity to pick off a lot of that good talent from some of those good private schools and some of those good public schools as well.
Absolutely. We definitely try to keep it in the backyard. We're
Okay.
hoping to be able to get some more of those talented young ladies that are right there in Howard County to stay home and be
Okay.
able to play in front of their family and friends for a few more years. And I mean, that's one thing. A lot of time when kids go to school, they think they want to go far away from home and be away from their parents. But it's nothing like being able to have your family come watch you play and have that support.
Absolutely. Definitely. So you guys have a gym on campus, or how does it work at Howard?
We do. We do have a gym on campus. We're actually in progress of getting a new gym, which will be finished in about 2023. So they started working on that a few months ago. But we do have a gym on campus. We just got a brand new floor, so it's looking really nice in there. Ready for everybody to come watch us play.
Okay, okay. And speaking of that, like we were talking backstage, your schedule's getting ready to start up, correct?
Yes, sir. We have a scrimmage on Thursday against Penn State Abington.
Yes.
So we're going up there Thursday, and then Monday we kick off the regular season at Community College of Philadelphia.
Nice, nice. You ready?
I am. I am. I'm excited for the girls. It's just been so long since they've been able to play, and
Yeah.
they've been working hard since last year. And I know they're tired of beating each other up in practice. They want to go play against some other competition. So I am excited for them to get that opportunity.
Okay, so before we get into your team, did any of the girls take advantage of the COVID year?
They did. So we have five young ladies during the COVID season. All five of them did return back to us this year. So we're very excited about that.
Okay, and as we move into that, in the past, since this is your second stint, um, I'm assuming you have a number of girls that move on to four-year colleges, correct?
We do. In the past few years, with the recent success that we've been having, we've had a few young ladies move on. We had one young lady at Wilmington University. We have a few other young ladies that have gone to University of Maryland, UMBC, not to play though, but for school. But that just goes to show the range that there is in junior college. Sometimes people think that junior college is like 13th grade and it's easy, and that's not the case. It's real college classes and real college professors, real college atmosphere. It's just a little different though, but
Okay. Yeah, and that speaks a lot. And you're sending your kids because at some point we all understand this ball's going to stop bouncing. And for you to say that you're sending kids to the University of Maryland because that's a high academic school. And a lot of people that aren't familiar with that, that's a Big Ten school. So with it being a Big Ten school, most of those schools are academic universities. So for them to go straight from Howard to Maryland, even as a regular student, that's big time. And I'm familiar with Wilmington too. That's a very good D2 school as well.
yes.
So your kids are basically going anywhere from D2 to NAI.
Yes.
The ones that play basically.
Yes, yes. We have a young lady at Washington Adventist now, Brianna Jones, who was a part of our team 2 years ago, and she's playing now at Washington Adventist.
Okay, nice, nice. So let's move right into the roster for this year. Tell us some more about the roster that you have for this year coming in.
Yes, so we have 14 young ladies. We have 9 freshmen,
Wow.
10 freshmen, and 4 sophomores. So we're very, very young.
Okay.
But I think that we'll be ready. We have some of our one sophomore, she was on our 21 team from 2 years ago, and a couple other sophomores are transfers from Prince George's Community College, and one of them has a lot of playing experience at PG. She had a very good freshman year while she was there, so I'm excited. I think that she'll bring a lot of knowledge and experience, especially for our younger players.
Okay.
And even our freshmen, though they're only freshmen, they had pretty successful high school careers. So, by this time, we're telling them you're not a freshman anymore. You're just a basketball player.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we touched on something, and I definitely wanted to hammer down on this one. I know this is your first year, as the head coach. Um, Transfer portal. Are you open to taking transfer portal kids like drop downs, D1s, D2s, or NAIs?
We absolutely are. We're open for anyone. We've been having pretty good success with more high school girls now because of the transfer portal. Excuse me.
Mhm.
A lot of them will start to understand if they're not understanding already that a lot of the other schools are looking in the transfer portal right now. So they're looking
Absolutely.
for that experience. They want people that come in and have some experience that can help right away. So they're looking for kids that are coming from 4-year schools or even Juco kids that have some experience over the younger kids coming out of high school right now. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation. So
Hmm.
we've we were able to fill our roster this year. Probably 3 or 4 of the girls at the end of this year will be moving on. So we'll be having some more openings next year. And
Hmm.
We're looking for some young ladies that are coming in ready to work hard with a good attitude and ready to compete night in and night out.
Okay. And I think it's ironic because all of us that are familiar on the men's side, it's almost it's almost Bible now. Like most of these coaches are looking for on the JUCO side, they're looking for drop downs, and then they start to recruit even before high school. They start looking at post grads, and then they start looking at high school, and that's slowly starting to transfer over to the women's game too. So the reality of it, like you said, is unfortunately, you know, that leaves slim pickings for incoming seniors, high school seniors that are going to be freshmen, and your program. And we talked about this backstage, like people are going to have to start looking at JUCO D2 as well as JUCO D1 as well, because people don't understand. A lot of people don't even understand what JUCO D2 is. And, it's a great opportunity where, you go on JUCO D2, you have the opportunity. You can go D1, you can go D2, D3, NAI, whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
because it's that second chance opportunity to take advantage of, what you didn't get in high school. So, my motto all the time, and we speak at this even in our AAU program, it's no stone unturned. If you have to go JUCO, you go JUCO. If you have to go post grad, you go post grad. If you're fortunate enough to go to any of the levels, D1, D2, D3, and NAI, because we preach all levels. And that's why I love bringing people like yourself on the show. To, like I was telling you, you're our first JUCO D2 coach, and I thought it was important to bring you on so people can understand, hey, look, she just said that you can go to four-year universities from JUCO D2. Now, let me ask this, and so I've spent most of this month on the road.
Mhm.
I've been to a number of JUCO showcases. Do you guys play any JUCO showcases preseason or anything, or is that the plan in the future?
We usually do go to a jamboree here out in Essex. They did not have it this year due to
Okay.
COVID. We don't usually travel. I know they usually have like big ones in Atlanta and Chicago. I'm hoping that within the next few years we are able to attend those, but as of right now, we have not attended any of those.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. Atlanta has a big one. Chicago has a big one, and
Mhm.
so does Texas. Dave Neely's big one as well. And to be honest, you educated me on the Essex one. Next year, I may have to check that one out if they have it next year.
Mhm.
I had never heard of that one before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually a round robin, a good warm up in the preseason. You get to play 3 games in a day. It's a good measure to see where your team is, and you get to see some of the conference teams that you'll be playing later in the year. So it's good to see everyone's growth, because you play them that early in the year and then you're not seeing them again until later down the road.
Gotcha, gotcha. So now, one of the big things is, well, let me ask this because I didn't ask this as well. Do you have an assistant, or is it just you riding solo?
Yes, I do have 3 assistant coaches: Coach
Okay.
Connor Rice, Coach Chantrell Oliver, and then Lamont Vaughn.
Okay.
Coach Connor was with Coach Marvin Evans and I. Coach Marvin Evans was the head coach prior to me. I was working with him. So Coach Connor, this is his second stint around. Coach Oliver, we actually went to college together for a semester.
Wow.
She had a really good college career. She played at UDC, University of District of Columbia. She also won some state championships when she was in high school. And
Okay.
then we have a volunteer coach, Lamont Vaughn, who brings some knowledge of the game as well. So I'm excited about my staff. They're really great. They're fun. They're nice. The girls love them. And I'm excited about this year for us.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So now let's get into basketball, so to speak. What type of offense do you prefer to run?
We like to get up and down. Really, our team right now, our makeup is we're pretty small, so we're going to be scrappy. Try to press and turn those turnovers into easy baskets. Try to play some open offense and spread the floor. We want to attack the rim, put pressure on the defense, and get to the free throw line and make these free throws so we can set up our press again.
Okay, so you're 94 feet. You're at it. Is that all game, or how do you like to go?
With the team that we have right now, I feel as though we can do 94 feet. We have a pretty deep team. Like we honestly could probably go 12 deep out of the 14 that we have right
Wow.
now.
Okay.
So I think that is something that we are going to try to do, try to wear teams down. I mean, it's rare that you see teams that can go 12 deep. Usually it's like 7, 8, 9, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I want to use the numbers that we have to our advantage.
Okay. Okay. And so on the defensive side, are you a straight man? Are you a zone? Off of that press, is it a zone press or is it a straight man? How's it work?
We like to switch it up. Actually, we'll play some man, we'll play some zone, we'll do some full court man press, we'll play like a 2-2-1 full court zone press, but we try to keep the other team off balance. So, we'll switch it up here and there. We may be this on a make, something else on a miss, and then we'll do something different on a free throw just to try to keep them on their toes.
Got you. And you're setting up my next question. So with you playing man and playing a lot of those zone trapping principles, how important is it for some young lady to come into your program and know the shell drill?
Yes, well, I'm sure if you talk to my players now, they'll tell you about how much we do it in practice now.
Hmm.
It's something that we pretty much do every day. We know that it's going to be hard to win if we can't get stopped. So as much as we want to be scoring 80 and 90 points a game, we understand that there's going to be nights where we just can't buy a basket and defense has to travel with us all the time. So that's something that we do every day, 2 or 3 times, different shell drills in practice. And if you come in lacking a little bit, we work with you on it. We'll work with you on it.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this as well. So, and this is an educational one for me. The D2 Juco tournament, where's the national tournament at?
To be honest, I believe it's in Illinois. I am not 100% sure though.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was just a curiosity question for me. I have no idea where the women's JUCO D2 tournament is. Like everybody knows on the men's JUCO D1 side, you go to Hutchinson, Kansas. Everybody knows Hutch.
Yeah.
But I was like, boy, I don't know where JUCO D2 goes, but that's something. There's Dove got it right there. It's in Danville. Appreciate it, Dove. Appreciate
Thank
it, bro.
you.
And that's one of our faithful listeners right there. He's the coach at Winston Prep up in Massachusetts. Excuse me.
Oh, nice.
And don't be surprised if he asks you about players as well, because that's it. This is always this is educational, but this is always big on networking because I bring in a number of coaches and a number of high school and prep coaches watch as well. So don't be surprised after this is over. You may get a DM or you may get some type of message, email, whatever. And it's just always good to connect people, good people like yourself, with players, because that's what this is all about.
Absolutely. And I definitely, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity to be on here. I'm hoping that I will be getting some emails and DMs after this.
Just go ahead and credit David Jones, the assistant coach from afar. That's all. Just credit me. I'll take the credit.
I got you. I definitely got you.
So, what is really your goal this year? I know you want to win games, and you got a lot of young players, and with those young players, let's just be honest. Sometimes it comes a little headache because they're still learning. And when
Hmm.
I say headache, I don't mean that in a negative way. They're adjusting to the college game.
Hmm.
And I don't care if you're coming from middle school to high school to college, or college to the pros, there's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah.
And so, what's your expectation this year for those young ladies?
Really, we're just trying to get everyone to buy in. Like you said, with them being so young, sometimes they don't really understand the reasoning behind some of the things that we do or some of the things that we're asking them to do, and getting them to understand that it's beyond basketball. Like when we're asking you to be on time or you need to be in this place and to be in that place. I know it sounds cliche, but these are like lessons later in life. No one wants to hear a bunch of excuses on why you couldn't be here or why you were late for this. So just really getting them to buy in and understand that we're a family. At the end of the day, sometimes practice gets a little heated and voices get the yelling and things like that, but just understanding that we're all working towards the same goal and just holding each other accountable. Our four pillars that we talk about for our program are discipline, having a good attitude, toughness mentally and physically, and accountability, holding yourself and your teammates accountable. So even if we have a disagreement or whatever the case may be, just know that at the end of the day, we're always coming back together because we're a family and we're all trying to work towards one common goal.
I like that. I like that. So, I know your aspirations are to build this back into a perennial program, and it's not really building back because, like you said, before COVID, that was your first year as the assistant. You guys won 20 games. And I know you want to keep that rolling now that, COVID is somewhat dying down and we're getting back to somewhat normalcy. And we're going to have, it looks like, a whole season this year.
Yeah.
I know, like you said, you got some young freshmen, but, you want to keep that streak rolling of, 15, 20, 22, 25 games
Mhm.
possibly. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's what I tell them is like, yes, we're taking it one game at a time, but we're not going to make excuses. Like, yes, we have 14 newcomers, and yes, we have 10 freshmen. And yes, this is my first year as head coach, but that doesn't mean that we can't accomplish the type of things that we want to accomplish. And we just know the type of work and effort and energy that it's going to take to put into it in order for us to do the things that we said we want to do. So, some of the things I preach to the girls is I'm the type of person is like, don't talk me to death. Like, don't tell me what you're going to do. Don't tell me how you're a gym rat and you're always in the gym. Like, show me. Just show me. So we just come in every day and try to work and do the things that we talk about because we don't want to talk about it. We want to be about it.
Absolutely. And so, and that's a great analogy that you just put up. So that lets me know that you basically have that gym available on a regular basis for them to get that work in.
Yeah.
Let me ask this. What about player development? How big are you on player development?
We're big on that. We had summer workouts. We try to play in some summer leagues. I'm always on the girls about putting in work on their own anytime the gym is available. If you want to come, I'm going to be there with you to get the work in. So, like I said, there's no excuse for them to not be able to reach the kind of goals and things that they have for themselves. And that's the one thing that we talk about as well is like, if you're telling us that you have a certain goal, I'm saying as a staff, you want to go play here or do these type of things, then that's the standard and the level that we're going to hold you at. Like, you can't tell me that you want to go play at such and such, but I got to beg you to get in the gym and put in
Yeah.
work, or I have to beg you to go do some extra cardio because you're out of shape and things like that. So.
And that's a great point. And as well as I know, because you played at IUP, and that's great D2 basketball. And people don't understand. A lot of times people have the misconception that if it's not D1, if it's D2, NAI, or D3, it's not good basketball. Well, you'll be sadly mistaken when you get to an IUP or you get to a Slippery Rock or a Cal University of PA and you get your feelings hurt.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
absolutely. And I think that one thing that people also don't understand, like my freshman year at IUP, our coach was coming from a Division I program. She came from West Virginia. So
yeah.
she was running our program like a Division I program, even though we were a Division II school. I think that's something that some people don't always understand. So yeah, it's not about the Division I, Division II. And like I said, I know it's cliche, but you want to go somewhere where you feel comfortable, where there's a good fit and they
Absolutely.
have your major, and you're going to have to spend a lot of time around these people. So you want to look more at the school and the people than the name and the level that it's going to be at.
I couldn't agree more with you on that. And see, I'm so glad you came on the show because having you on this show and people listening to you speak, they'll be like, man, she talks just like a D1 or D2 coach. Yeah, the mentality doesn't change. And like I said, you played on the D2 level and also had a D1 coach as well. So it all translates. And down to Juco D2, D3, Juco independent, I just stay passionate like people. listen, there's a little difference, as the levels, but understand it's still good basketball. And a lot of you high school seniors that think, oh, I'm gonna come in there, I'll go to Coach Barnes and throw up 30 a game. You're sadly mistaken.
Yeah,
Sadly mistaken. Because you get in there and your expectation of what you expect compared to what high schools expect is different. You're expecting more out of those kids and you push them more and you're supposed to. So you're getting them ready for that 4-year school that is going to expect them to be ready made coming out of Juco.
exactly. And that's the thing. Like when 4-year schools are coming to look at JUCO kids, they're expecting them to be able to come in and contribute right away and be a leader on the team for some of the younger girls that they're bringing in. So that's something that we try to preach to our girls as well. Like we're trying to get you ready to be a leader at the next level because that's what they're expecting from you when you come in. I mean, you don't have the long leash as a freshman does. You're not coming straight out of high school. So they're expecting a little more of you, and we just try to get our girls ready for that level. And also, I feel like when it comes to level or fit, like a lot of people say that they love basketball, but then they put stipulations on it. It's like you love basketball, but you only want to play at a Division 1 school. It's like, do you really love basketball then, or are you just worried about what comes with going to a Division 1 school? So, and
Exactly.
that's something that I had to learn and understand is that everyone doesn't actually love basketball. Like for some people, they just like it, or it's just something for them to do, or something to pass time, or a way to pay for schooling. So that's something that I had to learn.
So that's a great point you just brought up. So have you experienced any of those girls that have come to you and say, "Oh, I'm gung ho," and they get there and say, "Listen, this is not for me."
I have. And to be honest with you, when I was a freshman, after my very first preseason workout, I called my dad and I told him I wanted to come home. And he told me absolutely not. Like absolutely not. But
There.
yes, there have been some that come in and they're a gym rat and this and this and that. And then they see the type of time and energy and effort that it takes. I mean, we had girls that had to come to practice on Sunday. We had practice Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and some girls were just getting off of work at 6 a.m. They just work 6 to 6, but we have practice at 9 and they were there because
Dang.
that's what they're putting in what they want to get out. They're saying that they want to go play at the next level and they love basketball and they want to reach their full potential as much as they would love to go home and sleep. They came to practice because it means that much to them.
You know what you just said right there, to be honest, I'm gonna have to clip that. Look, I'm working 6 to 6 and then gotta be there at 9. Whew, man,
Yeah,
that's real talk right there, man.
it
That's
is.
dedication right there.
That JUCO grind is really different. It's
Yeah.
really different.
Yeah, that's a grind right there. I know we like to joke on some of the guys from the JUCO D1 level, like some of those guys are pushing strollers in there, putting it to the side, and they ready to ball because this
Yeah,
is do or die. But man, 6 to 6, and they coming to practice at 9 a.m.
yeah.
Listen, if I had the scholarship, I'm like, honey, you just come on just because, man. Gosh, whew.
Exactly. And that's the separator right there. Like that really shows you who's really about the things that they're talking about, who's going to
Yeah,
put in that work and that effort.
definitely. So, how do you go? Like, do you practice in the evenings or mornings or twice a day? How do you practice?
Right now we practice in the afternoons. All of our girls are out of class by 2.
Mhm.
And we practice from 3 to 5 during the week, and then we practice 9 to 11 on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. So, is it going to be the same come the season, or are you going to change that up, or how's that going to go?
It'll stay pretty stable throughout the season. I mean, on like some days after a game that we may usually practice, I may like give them off if we came in late or things like that. Or right now, like Mondays are off day and we use that day for study hall. But if we have a game on Monday, then we'll have a different off day and we'll have study hall at a different time on a different day. So
Well, and one last important question as well. Do you guys have like an academic advisor or a tutor? Do you have that as well?
We do. We have what's called the Learning Assistance Center, where there's tutoring for every subject. You can do scheduled tutoring, where you have the same tutor a couple times a week at the same time. We also have drop-in tutoring, so you can drop in anytime during the day. We have math labs, writing labs, science labs. We have what's called the Dream Team, which is a group of advisors and retention specialists that work closely with the athletic department. So we just have a lot of resources for regular students as well as student athletes. Anything that you want to do, anything that you need help with, there's someone there that's willing to help you. All you have to do is ask for the help.
Man, that's impressive for a JUCO to have those type of resources.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. I mean, that's and like I said, and I'm not trying to be funny. Like for a D2 JUCO, like you guys have more resources than a lot of those D1 JUCOs.
Mhm.
Man, parents pay attention. This is stuff you all need to pay attention to. I mean,
Exactly.
every JUCO is not the same, and Columbia is not. That's a nice area. That's a nice area.
It
As we
is.
know, there's some JUCOs are in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. And Columbia is a nice area, very nice area. And, and it's a safe area too. Let me say that as
Yeah.
well. So,
Yes, we're in Howard County, which is, I believe, if not the safest, it's like top three safest counties in Maryland.
yeah.
We're like halfway between DC and Baltimore, and then we also
Mhm.
have Columbia Mall that's literally 2 minutes from campus. So a lot of our girls like to go there and
See, you
hang
should have
out in
said
their
that
free
because see, they
time.
out there spending their money.
Yeah.
Man, gosh, I'm so glad we had you on the show because just listening to what you guys offer, you're like, man, this is a great option right here. And like I said, you know what? Just 2 years ago, before COVID, you won 20 games, and man, it's just something to build off of. And you're sending girls to school. I mean, it almost sounds like that AAU pitch, but it's reality. You're sending girls to school, they're getting their AA. You have a number of good programs there as well, because it's not just about basketball. And
Exactly.
my gosh, if you finish at Howard, you can go to any school, you get accepted in any school in Maryland.
Any
That's big right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's sometimes people tend to overlook that. Sometimes they look at the basketball program and think, like, oh, they haven't been doing much. I mean, we're a program on the rise, but as we just talked about, we have so many great resources because we know at some point the basketball will stop bouncing, and we're hoping to be able to ready these young women for life, not just basketball. And I
Absolutely.
think we're a great place. We offer great resources. We have a lot of people that are willing and wanting to help these young people. So, Howard Community College is the place to be the next few years. I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, okay. Listen, and you get no qualms with me about that. I mean, I like what I hear, and man, Coach Barnes, I just want to thank you so much for coming on to the show. I mean, this has been an educational piece where people, as myself, I mean, I know about D2, but I didn't know the resources that you offer. Man, I'm listening. Like from now on, when people ask, I'm like, hey, you might want to check this place out because not only is it a good brand of basketball, shoot, like you said, when the ball stops bouncing, they got some good resources to set you up real nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you again for having me on. I definitely appreciate the opportunity.
Anytime. And, we'll be paying attention to see how you guys are doing this year. And, the invitation to come back on the show is open because, any school like this, I definitely advocate for, not just from a basketball perspective, but from an educational perspective as well. And I just want to thank you for coming on and introducing us all to Howard Community College, because I know, a lot of people will think when they said Howard Community College, they're thinking, oh, Howard in Texas. No, this is the other one in Maryland.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. I would love to come back on, and hopefully you guys are able to check us out. We have some home games in January, and all of our home games are live streamed. So
So how do they watch you on the live stream?
if you go to howardccdragons.com, if you
Hmm.
go to Inside Athletics, you will see the option for the live stream.
Nice. Okay. And what about potential recruits for people that are outside of Maryland that may be interested?
Yes, if you check our athletics website, we have a tab for prospective student athletes where you can fill out a form and we will be informed that you filled it out and we will reach out to you. Or you can email me directly. My email is ewithers@howardcc.edu, and you can also find that information on the athletic website.
Okay. And one last thing, can they reach you on Twitter as well?
Absolutely. My Twitter name is Coach E underscore HCC. Please follow me. I need to get my followers up there.
I got you. I got you. That's why I wanted to get an opportunity to give you every way to be contacted. Well, Coach, again, I thank you so much for coming on. And again, like I said, the invitation will be open to come on. And maybe after the season, let's get back together and talk about the great 25 win season you had, and you've been to the tournament, and we can celebrate like that a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm loving that energy. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to come back and talk about our great season.
Okay. Thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure. We'll be talking again soon. Okay.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you. And you have
You're
a good
welcome.
night.
You too. Take care.
Thanks.
That was Coach Barnes from Howard Community College in Maryland. Man, you guys need to start researching JUCO D2, especially you guys. And I know that was the women's side, but you guys need to understand. I've spent the last month on the road, and I've been going to JUCO showcases, and a lot of these D1 coaches are saying the same thing, which she echoed. They're looking for older talent, and they're looking for the transfer portal. So a lot of you guys in high school, the pickings are getting slimmer, especially for 22s and 23s. You're going to have that option of either postgraduate or JUCO. That's just the reality of it right now. And all of you guys can't go JUCO D1. I'm telling you now, especially what I've seen at these showcases. If you try and go JUCO D1, I see guys that are all state that are struggling right now. And that's not a knock on any kid that say you can't play. Man, you can ask anybody. JUCO basketball is a different animal. A lot of these guys, this is their last chance. They will hurt you to get on. So I see guys, I'm like, oh man, he was good in high school. Man, he get out there and he's looking at the speed of the game, and you got these grown men. He's 18, and some of these guys are 22 and 23. Man, it's a different game, and it's a totally different game. I got to bring my man on for a little bit before our next guest comes on. The one and only, the big man of the hour, Madre Allen. What's going on, bro? You there, bro? Uh, Audience, y'all can tease him right now because you know he's having a little technical difficulties. And on the other show, they always talk about Bryce having the you always talk about Bryce having the issues right now. He's having a little issue. He'll be back on in a second. While we're waiting on him to come back on, man, I just want to touch on what I've been talking about, because our next guest will go right into this when he comes back on. Man, I spent these last 3 weeks. What's going on, bro?
How's my audio not working, bro?
Hey, I'm telling Bryce.
How's
telling
my
Bryce.
audio not working, bro? Like,
Listen, you have to do something with that audio looking a little
this
funny.
This is a conspiracy. What this is? It's a conspiracy.
Hey, man, real quick, just a little barbershop talk, man. Man, you know what it is. Can you tell these people about JUCO basketball, man?
I think what you're doing is so important, because, like what you said, me and you have had this argument, right, behind the scenes, um, about whether or not this model that coaches are going after is actually a viable model. But what
Yes.
I can't argue against is this the model? And it is. It's 100% the model. At this point, a college coach is looking at a high school kid, and if they think they can get away with it, they won't offer. They'll force that kid to go JUCO just to see what, then
Mm-hmm.
we'll stay in contact with him. We'll continue to call him. We'll stay on his radar or whatever. But if they think he could slide and go JUCO and nobody else is going to scoop him up, they'll take that chance and make him prove it in JUCO before they take a chance on him and bring him into their institution. Now, I'll argue whether or not I think that's the right thing to do or a smart thing to do. If that is a winning formula, I would argue that. But what I can't argue is that's the real deal. So, at least for the next 2 or 3 years until the rest of this stuff kind of shakes out, um, which I think it will. Maybe it won't. I don't even think it'll be 3 years. I think it'll be two, and all of that stuff will kind of shake out, and we'll see what's what.
Yeah.
But parents now, if you have a high school kid and you're looking to go to college within the next 2 years, within the next 2 summers, I should say, you
Mm-hmm.
better know everything there is to know about JUCOs, and that means what type of players do the top JUCOs take? How much does it cost? Where are they? What region do they play in? Like you really better.
Housing.
You don't want to start investigating JUCO in July.
Yeah.
You really don't want to do that. It's too late, and it's unfortunate that this is the position that high school kids are in right now. But it
Yeah.
is. It is.
Hey, man, and like more than anything, man, and going all over to these different JUCO events, even the way it's set up, each one is different, and depending on the region. Like, you got the Florida JUCOs, you got the JUCOs out in the Midwest, they do it their way. The JUCOs out in Texas, they do it their way. You got the JUCOs out on the West Coast. Like California has their own JUCO league, Like people have to understand, and then, like you said, coming to the cost of all this. Yes, for the most part, most JUCO D1s offer full scholarships. But as we both know, there are some JUCO D1s that do not offer full scholarships.
And your kid may not be like that to get one. Let's talk about this too, because you have to understand that there are high major kids. There are potential pros.
Yes.
And here's what I'm gonna say. Make sure the high school parents, not undersized potential high major kids. I'm talking about 6'6". I already got my grown man body. I jump out of the gym. I shoot the leather off the ball, right? But I have a 2.3 or I have a 2.1 or a 1.8, so I don't qualify, right? So I got to go to JUCO, right? Or I couldn't get a freshman exception to get into a 4-year or whatever, or a hardship to get into a 4-year, so I got to go JUCO. It's not a what if with a lot of these guys. They have it all right now, right? And with a lot of high school kids, we're projecting, right? Oh, he's a little light in the tail right now, but you get him in college, feed him a couple hamburgers, let him lift a few weights, and then he's gonna, be this high major guy, or he's gonna be that kid. No. These JUCO guys, like you saw, 6'10", runs like a deer, dunks everything, block shots. Jaquan Scott, 6'8", 6'9", built like Zion Williamson, and you know what I mean? Like these guys already have it, right? And I may be exaggerating a little bit, but not a lot.
Oh, listen. You're not. I mean, okay, we'll go with the Zion, but skill wise,
he's high major right now.
Real deal.
He's high major right now, and not just high major. Like, okay, because there are kids that go to those bottom feeder high major programs and say, "Oh, I'm high major." No, you went to a high major conference, right? No. But your school barely participates, or your school only participates because they play football. No, I'm talking about high North Carolina, Duke, Kansas,
yes,
Arizona,
Kentucky, blue bloods.
That level high major, right? Those kids are that level high major, and there's a lot of them at the JUCO level. And if you guys don't understand how to move and how to navigate through that scene, you're going to have expectations. We've had this conversation. I want to go, and you look at a school that's in the top 10 and you think you want to go there. No. So,
especially what I saw this month, bro. I'm telling you, what I saw this month, like I was texting you and Huff, like, hey, man, these guys are next level. Like, the craziness, like, for you to bring up Jaquan, like, it's a possibility he's one of the best, not freshmen, one of the best players in all of JUCO as a freshman.
Listen, we just had Jay Scruggs, JUCO All-American, the best player in all of JUCO basketball go to the Clippers. He didn't even go to college, right? He
Mm-hmm.
left JUCO and went to the Clippers, right? University of Louisville, their starting point guard or two guard, he's a combo. Boogie Ellis is a JUCO kid,
Yeah.
right? He's walking into the ACC and starting from day one, right? Like we're talking about a different type of level player. And as a high school kid, if you're not talking about going to the ACC and starting from day one, like you got to understand how to move around, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because these coaches are just like college coaches, or just like college coaches at four-year institutions. They like what they like. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
don't like smaller guards. Some of them, love guards that can shoot it. They don't care how big you are, right? So you better kind of understand style of play and everything that goes into this. And
Oh,
they got
oh,
to start
yeah.
now.
Absolutely. But Dre, I think that's why it was so good to have Coach Barnes on the show. Because Dre, if we were willing to poll a lot of even our listeners and take out the coaches, because that would be cheating. But if we were to poll some of the parents that watch some of the show and be like, tell me about JUCO D2. What?
Most of them didn't know there was a JUCO D2,
My
right?
point
I
exactly.
learned that from listening to your show every week.
Man.
Um, it's if you want to, I caution every kid to understand this, right? We look at a kid like Adam Flagler,
Yes.
and we talk about Adam Flagler all the time. Went to Presbyterian, right? Your only Division One offer, and the next thing you know, you're at Baylor, right? Um, he kept playing, but he kept playing because he had an opportunity to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these kids, you have to understand that JUCO D2 or even a JUCO independent, that may be your opportunity to keep playing.
Exactly, man.
And if you
Exactly.
don't give up on yourself and you keep working with that same attitude of I want to be wherever, whatever your dream is, right? You've got another 2 years. Or there are sometimes, which I didn't know this until your show, you can go to JUCO in red shirt. You gotta be willing to keep working and understand that, hey, maybe I don't have the Sharif Cooper timeline where, you know what I mean? I leave high school, I'm a one and done, and I'm in the league, right? But
Yeah.
that's okay. Maybe I'm a Davion Mitchell,
Yeah.
right? Davion went to college 3-4 years before Sharif graduated. Still a lottery pick. Who wouldn't trade places with him?
No, I.
So, hey, maybe your path is going JUCO. Maybe you have to redshirt your first year going JUCO. But as long as you keep working with that same intensity, right? Take that opportunity, be grateful for it. Don't look down on it. Take that opportunity and run with it. And you never know. Your name may be the next name getting called, and we're sitting there watching you shake hands with Adam Silver.
But here's my thing, man, and so that's why I'm so passionate about this. Like people don't understand. Like you can go D1 from a JUCO D2,
Yes.
bro. You can go D1 from a JUCO D3.
These coaches don't care.
That's
All
what
they
I'm
care is
saying.
can you hoop.
Yeah, if you can hoop and you can put up them numbers, because listen, let's not get this twisted. Like you know, like just like Adam, what people don't understand, like man. Like he was at Presbyterian. And to be honest, D1s are looking at those all conference low D1s. They're looking at them all conference high D2s and some of those mid level D2s. Like those guys are putting up numbers. Yeah, they're going to be like, maybe we can get that cat to get in the portal and we'll take him. You know what I'm saying?
Looking at the Jenkins kid that started at North Georgia. He was at North Georgia, great D2, shot the lights out, ended up going JUCO, went JUCO, now he's at Texas Tech.
That's what I'm saying,
Hey,
man.
man.
Man, it's like Baylor. Baylor had they had what two? Well, they had they had the D1 guy that came from Presbyterian, and the big guy was a D3 transfer, a D3, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm there, I'm happy to be there. No, he was playing.
See, but here's what happens though. I think a lot of times kids want to go D1 and then start working,
Yeah,
right?
that's a great
And
point.
if you go JUCO mentally, I feel like sometimes they give up on themselves,
Mhm.
right? Who cares what time practice is?
Yeah.
Be in the gym. 6 o'clock, you should be in the gym, right?
Yeah.
Or you see what happens with so many of these JUCO kids. You go to JUCO, mentally, you kind of giving up on yourself. You've gotten yourself mentally in this bad headspace, right? Where
Mhm.
you're only thinking about where you are instead of where you're going. And then you're out partying, drinking, smoke. Like, I don't know how many kids I've seen struggle in JUCO because they can't stop smoking weed.
I,
You're
man,
not focused on where you're trying to go.
that blows my mind. I mean, outside of eating and being able to live and survive, there's nothing else. I mean, and going to school and getting your degree, of course. There's nothing else after that, bro. Nothing
But
else.
but they don't. I'm telling you, bro. Like, you can talk to some of these kids and you can look at them in their eyes. That hunger, that drive isn't there because they don't. They feel like because their path is different, right? It's like they only know one way. And if you're not going to college and a one and done, if you're not high major, then it's like all hope is lost. They're not thinking about playing overseas, like, or how wonderful a life that can be. We're talking about tax-free money. You can make a six-figure salary, tax-free money. I was just having a conversation with another coach, and we were talking to George, and he
Mhm.
mentioned how his starting center, he went to UGA, did what he did at UGA, and now he's playing overseas, right? And so I'm not coming to play for the G League. No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
cool
George
up
said
here.
that. Yeah.
He
He
said
said that.
they pay for my apartment, they pay for my car. I'm not even coming back to U.S. soil. This is tax free money as long as I don't come back for more than 30 days, right?
Yeah.
He's loving his life, right? Why could you not? Even if you're a JUCO kid, you can still go high major. You can
But
still
I want to stop you, but okay. I
DJ
think,
Patrick, great example.
yeah.
JUCO, South Florida.
South Florida. And I just talked to South Florida's coach yesterday. He is so high on DJ Patrick right now. Like, I want people to understand DJ's going down there, and it's not he's going down there to say, oh, I rock a South Florida jersey. I'm on a team. No, he's about to play major minutes.
Now look at this. Think about DJ Patrick's path. Think about if he would have had the same mindset that some of these other kids have. DJ Patrick had to go from high school, and it wasn't like he was a slouch in high school. DJ Patrick was the man at Sprayberry.
Yes, he was.
He was the man, right? You go play for the Georgia Canes, a premier independent program. You're playing in front of coaches every week, and it's not like he was having a bad summer. He was still having a good summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still end up having to go from there to TSF for post grad, from TSF to a JUCO in Chicago,
Yep.
right? Which, hey, it worked, but
But
it was an odd move to a lot of people.
But that end result, you know what I'm saying? What did you just say earlier? He didn't quit. He kept working. He kept working. In his eyes, he was like, I'm a D1 player. You know, when I hear that, sometimes I look at a kid and you can be like, he's selling me a bill of goods.
Yeah, because they don't have the work ethic to go with it.
Yeah, but they want the fame that comes with that. They
Yes,
can come home for the summer and be like, yeah, I'm D1, I'm this, I'm that. But like you said, they're not working. Them kids that you can see it in their eyes and be like, coach, I'm a D1 player. You can see it.
I'm gonna tell you who else has that fire.
Who?
Sammy Pisces down at Middle Georgia Prep.
Hey, man,
You
love
talk
that
to
kid.
him, he's gonna look you in your eye and tell you what he is, right? And I'm not saying he's saying, Coach, I'm only high major. He's never said that to me.
Yeah.
But from the very beginning, right? When I very first saw him play, I was one of the first people to tweet out on this kid and put video out on him. I saw him play at TOC. I talked to him after. I said, do you have any offers? He said, I've got Maryville. I said, what are you looking for? He looked me dead in my eyes with fire in his eyes. I'm a D1.
Hey, man.
I'm a D1 guy.
And side note, shout out to Middle Georgia Prep. I was in Birmingham yesterday for the Lawson State JUCO. So, shout out to Lawson State that ran a nice little JUCO event there yesterday. Had coaches, definitely shout out. But hey, Middle Georgia Prep, Sammy's backup, and I tweeted out about him last night. Kavian Jackson, bro. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I get his name right, bro. Listen, brother, I don't want to mess up your name. When I say he's the real deal, bro, he hit Lawson for 39. Coach Jefferson, if you're watching, don't get out my head. Hey, listen.
My bad, Coach.
My bad, Coach. But, I got to give props where props are due, man. That dude is like, listen, when that game was over, Alabama A&M and Miles were like, I need to see some more of this guy. And you just never know who's watching. Like, he's coming as Sammy's backup. And listen, that's not a bad deal. Sammy's back. I mean, Sammy can play, but they're two different players. And this dude is a bucket getter, Dre. He had 39 against Lawson. In the previous game, he had 36. And the crazy part about it, we all know sometimes there's volume shooters that's just shooting up all the balls. And they're like, I got 30. Bro, you shot 50 times. You're killing me. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen a lot of those.
When I say, listen, Miles' assistant coach, shout out, what up, Nate? Miles' assistant coach, we were sitting there talking. The only reason I know he had 30? Lawson State has the scoreboard where, you have the score, you have the players, and the points next to them. Bruh, if that wasn't the quietest 30 points, I didn't even know he had 30 till Miles' coach was like, man, he got 30 points? I was like, no, that's a mistake.
Efficient.
Man, bro, yes. Efficient. Absolutely. So once I saw he had 30, and I really paid attention because I was like, oh, he got a couple buckets. He's getting them.
It looks different when you get it on 13 shots.
Exactly, bro.
When you get 30 on 13 shots, it looks totally different.
And look, I'm not going to say it was 13 shots, but when it's a quiet 30, that's even more impressive because we know, we see guys at live period just jacking. Their arm is smoking after the game. Because they got to put it in ice, they done threw it up so many times. You know what I'm saying? No, this guy here, when I say it was an efficient 39, and I know that sounds crazy to say, it was an efficient 39. I mean, it got to the point, when I saw he had 30, you almost become a fan of the game. You're like, whoa, this dude, and you can see Lawson okay, we're going to have to switch up D's on this dude. This dude is getting to the bucket. He's pulling up.
Gave you a Cam Reddish 39.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, bro.
Cam Reddish in high school handing out 40 balls.
Bro, he was one short of 40, guy. And when I say Keonjay Carter, remember that name, guy. I'm not going to go. You remember how high I was on Jaquan Scott last year when he played in my event. And I was texting you hey, bro, you got to see this guy. I'm not going to say that, but when I say he's from Buffalo, but his family moved down to Atlanta, so he lives in Atlanta now. And Tribby was telling me he was going to go to a post-grad in Tennessee, but it worked out that he ended up at Middle Georgia Prep. Hey, Tribby, and I said it in my tweet. I was like, they got a hidden gem right there. That dude is the deal. 6'1"ish, around that, and Dre, he was dropping buckets. In array of moves.
You gotta look at guys like that when they can get it, and like you said, it's quiet. That tells me I'm getting it out of the offense. I'm letting it come to me, right? If I'm one-on-one on the island, hey, I'm gonna get to my spot, and this guy can't stop me, right? But it ain't, I don't have to beat my chest and all that. I'm efficient. I can get my. That tells me you can play in a system.
Quiet dude, like I said, it wasn't the other thing for me that, I kind of go crazy over is, you don't have to sit up here and say, look at me. I'm up here killing folks. If you up there putting in work, people are going to notice. They are definitely going to notice. you know, dude was quiet. He played the game the right way. I was more impressed with that. Like his whole approach to the game, bro. Trust me, his whole approach to the game, I loved it. Like I told Tribby from the door, like after the game, and shout out to Tribby. Tribby was like, "Hey, you're the first one to get eyes on him." I was like, when I texted him this morning, because I was like, "Hey, there's a couple schools looking right now at him." He was like, "Hey, you were the first to get eyes on him." And I text back saying, "Man, I feel fortunate," because I was like, that dude is about to blow. Like I said, whatever Sammy decides to do, Sammy's going to get his. And he already got his. Like he got 8, 9, 10 schools.
Hey, Tribby, if he need a home in April, man.
Listen, I'm way ahead of you guys. I'm way ahead of you guys. Trust me. Bro, you think that wasn't on my mind? I was like, who is this? And he was like, yeah, he lives in Atlanta.
I want to talk about this too because Tribby does a great job with that Middle Georgia Pep program.
Yeah.
Has consistently built it every year under difficult circumstances because of where they're located.
Yeah.
But one thing I can say, right, out of all the schools, post-grads, that have all these bells and whistles and all this, brag about all these different players and this, that, and the third, right? One thing that I consistently say about Coach Tribby, nobody is perfect. Nobody is blameless in this game, right? But one thing I can consistently say about Coach Tribby, those players get in school. That's number one.
Yeah.
He does a good job of getting guys in school. The next thing that I see is that I've not once heard a complaint about the educational component down at MGP. For everything that I've seen, everything that I've heard, guys go to class, they take classes, they get some work in, they get work done. Hey, compared to a lot of the other horror stories that we've heard,
yeah,
never heard those things.
Hey
I
man,
got a kid coming out of MGP.
I got to give Tribby. The other thing I got to give Tribby credit on, and I wanted, as I got to know him, I like to sit back and observe programs. I don't like to just make an assumption off of meeting a guy once or twice. Man, Tribby is getting those kids exposure. And, I always thought, I said, well, let me see how this works out. Is he a regional guy? And now that I'm bigger on the Juco space, like, bro, he got them kids playing in Juco showcases. He got them playing in Juco showcases in Florida, Alabama, Georgia. And listen, sure, there's national ones, but the ones he's being strategic in the ones he's putting his kids in, man. And there's coaches, and that's the thing I got to shout him out for because, West Georgia, there was plenty of coaches at that one, at Corey Black's event. Birmingham had coaches. And like I said, the kid came out of nowhere. I'm sitting there with those coaches. And now everybody knows about him. I look on his Twitter. I see those coaches following him now. So you know what that means. You automatically know what that means. And, I was like, hey, man, and even talking to some of them today, they were like, yeah, I like that kid. I'm going to have to see some more of Middle Georgia Prep.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, where, and I'm happy he's being rewarded. His kids are being rewarded for that hard work because I think a lot of people jump into that prep space, that post grad space, thinking that it's easy, that it's a walk in the park, and we've seen guys kind of falter and have issues when it comes to being in that space. But Tribby is somebody that jumped in, has maintained that program. They've elevated it year over year over year. And the kids have been the benefactor of that. So I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And since you're
Big
touching
price
that,
difference between what he charges and what a lot of other people charge too.
yeah, and also, man, I'll say it, and I'm fine with that. Tribby has it to where you can get financial assistance. That's the bigger thing. that a lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people that go JUCO, that financial assistance part. Hey, bro, if I say, Madre, I need 30 G's, or I need 20 G's, or I need 18 G's, yeah, you could do it in installments, bro. That's setting us both back. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, that prep and post grad route, when you talk about a post, not even JUCO, when you talk about going post grad, and you gotta pay 30,000, 25,000.
20.
On the low end, I've seen 15, right? Like it's tough. So when you have a program that is affordable as what Tribby is offering, they're connected to a legitimate college, right? Like, and his track record, it's a tough, tough deal to pass up.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say this, man, and I give credit to where credit is due, man. The Prep South Conference, I got to sneak down there and actually look at the event. Man, shout out to Lou, man. I mean, it was a quality event, man. So about 2 weeks ago, I put out a tweet of my favorite, basically my favorite facilities. Hey, man, that facility in North Charleston is nice. The thing about it that's different, it's not as big as the Lake Point. No, it reminds me of the Game On Center in Dallas a little bit, maybe a little bit smaller than where Jerry has his JUCO event at. Bro, how about Boeing built that for them?
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, Boeing built that for the city of North Charleston. When you walk in, man, it is dope. I was like, wow, this is nice. So take all that, put that to the side. It was a great facility. Man, all the games were on time, pretty good, talent. Man, there was a guy from Vision Academy in New York. Dre, he's a monster. He's 6'5", 240.
Ooh.
And he's a rebounding monster. Monster. Bruh, listen, for me to get up and take a picture during the game, like usually I take them from the stands. Okay, here's what's going on. Yeah, no,
we gotta get you on these
shot.
Pictures, D, you got an iPhone, dog. We gotta get you with these pictures. Hey, man, I'm about to put you in the. Okay, come on, bro.
It's an 8, bro. Stop me out. Bro. It's an 8. You and DJ sound the same. DJ was like, Dad, come on. He's like, you got to get another phone. Hey, listen, it's all good. When DJ rocking that 11, I'll be like, well, bro, I can take your phone. Oh, no. I'm good.
No, what are we at right now? 13s? 14s? You can get another phone, dude.
Listen, guy, my 57 Chevy works well.
Hey, I'm gonna start telling a story about you asking for your $2 if you don't get another phone. I'm gonna put that out there. I know you now.
Go ahead and snitch. I'm fine with that. Go ahead and snitch.
I know you better than a lot of these people.
I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that, bro.
Get you a phone.
My 8 has been all over the country with me. It's faithful,
and it takes pictures like it too.
That's fine, and it works.
You know they'll let you trade it in.
Listen, guy, we're getting off subject here.
No, we're not, because it would have been more detail in this picture of this 6'5" kid if you would have took it with a better phone.
Listen, guy, maybe for Christmas, hey, get your man that for Christmas. You big money.
Take it with the iPad.
Oh,
take the picture with the iPad, man. Come on,
hey, man, but no, seriously, man. This month has been an amazing experience for me, man. In all seriousness, I mean, going to Dallas, man. Going to Dallas to Jerry Mullins' event was like pageantry. Going to that, Drake, there was 300 coaches there. I've never seen 300 coaches at an event before.
Ever. I do want to say this, man, and I want to make sure that I say it. We've talked about it privately, but I want to make sure we say it publicly too. The work that you've put in to build this platform into a viable option for success, not only for education, but all the kids, right? You could be would have every right to be one of these guys on Twitter, on social media, bragging about all the kids that you've helped get offers and all the kids that you've helped get put in school, but you don't. So I'll do a little bit of that for you, right? Right. As that number approaches 50 since the pandemic, right? You've only had the show for a year. As that number approaches 50, maybe it might be at that already, but by my count, as that number approaches 50, um, you took and you created a brand out of nothing, solely based on the fact that you saw a need and you wanted to help people. And you jumped in, invest your time, your energy, your effort, your resources. Most people don't know, though, too. Yes, I build platforms and podcasts as a part of what I do, but I gave you some direction and I pushed you to build this on your own, and you did with minimal help from me. But you did it, and I knew you could do it. And I feel like the momentum that you've built from all the work that you put in this month is going to pay huge dividends for years and years and years and years and years to come. I feel like you really this year solidified yourself in this game with everything that you've been doing, bro. You should be proud of that.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, bro. But, man, you know me for it's almost 23 years now, bro. You're getting old, too. But, bro, you you know me for 23 years, man. And sometimes when I call you about the gripes, and even, bro, I remember vividly, it was, gosh, this is our third year for our program. This is our third year.
Yep.
And so 2 years prior to that, and hey D, you should look into this. And it was my friend, oh, nah, man, my time's done, bro. Whatever. And you just kept at it. I tell people this all the time when they ask me. I was like, my man just kept at me and kept at me.
I knew you were gonna be a star, D. I knew you were gonna be a star.
And I was just like, I remember that phone call, like, bro, let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And people don't even know what it took. And when I say when it took, because I wasn't even in Atlanta at the time. You know what I'm saying? It was
really just got to Atlanta a couple months ago. This whole time, I mean, you've been in Atlanta, but you haven't been in Atlanta.
Yeah, because my job had me all over the place. And so my job, this time has really given me a lot of time to really go hands down into this. And man, seeing some of the needs, and like when I would have questions for you or Huff or a plethora of the other coaches now that I have, the ability to call and ask. But you were the first one I used to be like, hey man, what about this? And you'd be like, I don't know. Nobody's ever done that before. And I would just write that down and be like, okay, do that. Hey, man, what about this? Nah, that doesn't work. I've seen that before. And I was asking you these questions all the time, and it just got to the point. Next thing I knew, I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be up at 7 for work. But I was just so, bro, this isn't work. I tell people that this isn't work for me. This is something where you have a passion and you love it. And to see the fruit of the labor pay off, not for me, but for them kids, man.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is getting a text from these kids, they on campus, coach, thank you so much. I don't know what I would have done. Bruh, listen, I'm not no punk, but man, sometimes that almost make you emotional, bruh, to see those kids, their life being changed, bruh. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the biggest payoff of all this. And, as I get deeper on the women's side and deeper, to see some of these young ladies that are going from nobody heard of them, Dre, and some have been heard of and some haven't. Like the young lady in Florida, nobody knew about her. And now she got 15 schools after her, and 5 of them been offered. That's what this is about, man. And, bruh, for you to build this, and that's why we've always been boys, like, for you to build this, I wasn't looking to ride your coattails. And I people don't know, we've always been cool. We've been cool off of basketball. We, after work, we was like, hey man, let's go play. And we became cool because we fed off each other because we both believed in team basketball principles. And it wasn't you was just going to go and jack up all the shots. You were setting picks and rolling to the bucket. And I'm looking at you like, he's not from here. He's not from here. And the first thing I said, well, I knew you were from Louisville, but since I had been all over the place, you played that Midwestern style of basketball that I liked. And it transferred over into life. And when I say it transferred into life, you could have something or I could have something, and the support is there. I'm not out here to say, oh, bruh, let me take over love of the game. This is going to be me. No, what can I do to help? You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And that's why this has always worked. That's why our friendship has always worked. And, you're not going to meet people as genuine like you, man, that's going to do this. And it's for the benefit of the brand. You know what I'm saying? And as this thing builds, I mean, I look at it like this, man, I couldn't have done this by myself, man. You know what I'm saying? You was right there. I had questions. I had frustrations at times. There was people that pissed me off. Sure, absolutely. But, man, I look at this like, bro, like, love of the game is going to be something really big. Really big. And I tell you that.
Man, I think too the thing that did it was for you in this platform. You're the most competitive person that I know, right? So I know when you found out that there were kids in high school that could have an opportunity to play basketball, even at the Division 3 level, for most people, that's only slightly annoying. You were pissed that they weren't getting those opportunities. Like, it frustrated you to no end, to the point where before we knew it, right, you started out as the post-grad D3 guy.
Yeah.
Nobody in that lane, because of your passion of, I'm not going to lose. None of these other kids are going to lose. They're all going to get an opportunity if they want an opportunity. And you went from that to, he does women's basketball too. Right now you're doing to me, it's just been a natural progression, man. I think, again, kids, now we've got kids all across the country. I was going to say kids in Georgia, but now we've got kids all the way across the country. Like you said, you'll be in New Orleans this weekend. There are kids all across the country, kids in Houston that are reaping the benefit of, hey, this is that passion of being able to get kids to school. I'm happy to see the Hoops Hidden Gems brand grow. I'm happy for it to be a part of it, right? That Love of the Game network, that we had a platform that we could lend to get you going, man. That was huge. But I just want to make sure that people understand how much work you had to do, right, outside of that. It wasn't just, everything was done. You know what I mean? No, that's not how that went.
Nah.
How that went. You had to get it out the mud. Every step of the way, you had to get out, to the point where I think you've only been on one episode of Love of the Game, I think.
Nah, three.
Three?
Yeah, I've been on three. On three. And the thing, and even with that, like, when the discussions was, hey, I may bring you on Love of the Game. And I was like, okay, cool. Whatever. And you started bringing me on as a guest. Then you was like, no, D, he's like, no, I got you. My vision is to bring you on, bring your own show. And I remember when you first said that, I was kind of scratching my head like, okay.
Yeah. We had that conversation on the podcast. Were you going to be the replacement for Huff? And I said, nope.
Yeah.
Your own thing.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and it was just a situation. And I remember you start saying, I need you to do this, I need you to do this. And I got off the phone, and people don't understand our history. I got off the phone like, okay, he got me into something again. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out. Okay.
Hey, people don't know that I gave you a huge checklist of stuff that needed to be done, and then I walked away.
And I was like, okay. And I just was like, okay. And then I got off the phone like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But that's where those nights of 3, 4 o'clock in the morning came in. Because I was like, okay, bro, I'm calling you back in a week. Okay, I got this. I'm looking at this. I don't know this. And I know I got a couple weeks to get ready for the first show. And I was like, okay. And he was like, you need this. And I'm like, I don't even know where to look for that.
I think that's important for people to understand. People are getting a behind the scenes lesson as to how all this stuff comes about. Dave is doing all this stuff, again, while being a primary contact for post-grad in Georgia, while learning and getting integrated with Juco schools, while building up a relay. At that time, we were hitting Peach Belt schools really heavy and really researching the Peach Belt Conference and learning about how great of opportunity that was.
Mm-hmm.
While we were still doing AAU at that time. So we, at the same time that I told you were going to start your own show, we named you director of our AAU organization at the same time. So it was a lot that needed to be done. That role morphed more into recruiting coordinator role. Like, it was a lot going on. So,
but it all tied in. But the crazy part about that, all of that tied into this, and it was all a big part of this that really has taken us to where it is now. Because sometimes in dealing with coaches, a lot of coaches don't know until once we get to know, like, wait, you guys are part of Man Up? Yeah. It's not something we're just like, oh, gung-ho, yes, we're proud of what we've done, but, it was just building love of the game, building hoops, hitting gems, getting it to that point. And people don't understand that, man, this is supposed to be a family thing. So all these independents we rock with for the most part. So when they come to us and say, hey, I got a kid, man, we open arms are taking them, or you may call me and be like, hey, man, call such and such. They got a kid. And it's not even our kid. Not even our kid.
Helping them get on.
But it's Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? I think my proudest accomplishment, and I love to say this, was getting the kid the MIT offer. That was my proudest accomplishment. And to me, that was any D1, and no knock to the D1s. I love y'all. Love all y'all. But when that kid got the MIT offer, bro, my chest was out so far.
Just shows the range.
Yeah, bro. I was like, look, I was happy for that kid like I was his parent. For him to get an MIT offer, bro, how many kids have the opportunity to go to MIT?
It's a very, very select few.
In the world, not in the country, in the world, bro. And I was like, man, listen, bro. I remember his mom just, thank you so much. And I was like, listen, you don't have to thank me. I'm more excited. Well, I can't say that, but I was just as excited as they were.
Well, I'll step out of the way here, and I'll tell you guys about my proudest moment. Maybe I'll have a player for Coach Robertson here the next summer or two, and then I'll be able to talk about my finest accomplishment of sending a kid to Prairie View A&M.
Hey, Prairie View got, man, listen, my sisters live in Houston, and I've driven past Prairie View going to Austin for a conference and also going up there to Texas A&M as well. Man, Prairie View's nice, bro.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful campus. Coach,
what's going on, guys? How are you?
We're good, man. We just been up here, just chuckling it up a little bit, man. One of our good coaches, one of our friends, he started practice tonight, so he couldn't make it. So,
okay.
We were just waiting for you to come on, but we just were giving people an inside look at how this all came about and what we do, man. And man, just meeting you, man, it's been a pleasure, man. First of all, I'm in Houston all the time, and actually, me and Dre will be there for the Wheeler Duncanville game and the Newton County Concordia Lutheran game the week before. So if you have some free time, man, if you're going to be there, man, let's definitely chop it up. Or
we definitely will. I know we're going to be getting our frequent flyer miles up here in the month of November, but we'll definitely get out to some games and whatnot. I know there's a lot of high school games coming up and whatnot, but
those are the two big showcases because Wheeler plays Duncanville and Concordia Lutheran plays Newton, and both of them are two of our top teams in Georgia. And man, like I said, I'm excited because I love to see Texas versus Georgia versus DMV. Like, it's good basketball. It's good quality basketball. Whether it's Houston or Dallas, whatever the case may be. And of course, for yourself, somebody like yourself is going to be out there scouting hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than likely,
Yeah, absolutely. No, we'll definitely have to get out there. I know we get out to. I know Coach Smith. He's really well known in the Houston area and whatnot, and we've all kind of got our Houston ties. But yeah, we definitely those big showcases and whatnot. We definitely get out to them throughout the year. So.
Coach, I'm gonna get out of y'all way, but Coach, if I don't catch you in the gym in Houston, I think we're close to Thanksgiving or the 2 weekends we'll be out there.
Yes,
the 2 weekends prior to Thanksgiving. If I don't catch you in the gym, maybe we could catch you at Turkey Leg Hut, because that is one place outside of the gym.
Yeah.
Outside of being at the gym, I'm going to get Turkey Leg Hut while I'm there.
Yeah, maybe we can. Yeah, we'll get the game live stream there or something. Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite spots to go to in Houston. So,
and I haven't been there, so
man, you're missing out, Coach. You're definitely missing out. I definitely recommend it. So
nice to meet you, Coach.
I just tell you this: make sure you go during the day, because if you go at night, man, you better have about 2-3 hours.
What?
Yeah, man, the lines are crazy. It's ridiculous. But
hey, bro, we're gonna have to go for lunch then, bro.
Yeah. That's the best time to go. My 2 times that I've went has been during the day. So
I'm glad. Thank you for that assist right there. Because see, I'd have been mad waiting 2 or 3 hours.
I would have been at Waffle House.
But Coach, what we want to do, everybody knows about the SWAC, man, and SWAC is a powerful conference. To me, the SWAC is now the HBCU Super Conference, in my opinion. For the people that are under a rock that don't know about Prairie View, I want to introduce you to Georgia, and you guys are already, they know about you in Georgia. But for the parents that don't, man, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
No problem, man. Tell us a little bit about Prairie View, man.
Prairie View is about 45 minutes outside of Houston, Texas, probably about 15 to 20 minutes out of Cypress, Texas. Mm-hmm. One of the oldest HBCUs in the state of Texas, right about 10,000 students. And I might be biased, but I've worked there. This is my 5th year working there. And it's been a really, really good experience. And, like I said, I mean, it's just a situation where you're working with great people, great administration. You've got great facilities. You got great majors to choose from. We've got a great engineering program. We've got a great nursing program, got a great criminal justice program, great kinesiology program. So, and it's been, the selling points of, Prairie View A&M, like you said, obviously location. You got your, I probably, and again, I probably say that we're biased over here, but, we kind of feel that, we've got the best facilities in the conference and whatnot. And then, on top of that, we've put together a really, really successful program. Coach Smith, this is going into his 6th year, my 3rd year on the men's side. So, just, really, really good things happening at Prairie View A&M. With Coach Smith is really, he's built that program from the ground up, because when he took it over, I think at the time when he took it over in 2016, I think at the time he was taking over a program that was 1-15. And, the last 4 years, his conference record has been 44-5. So
yeah, you guys have been rolling, man.
Rolling. No, he's done a really, really good job. And I've just, I was blessed a couple years ago when he, asked me to come and join his program, because I was actually on the women's side. So I've gotten a taste of both worlds, but was blessed to come in and help him run his program and whatnot, and just kind of help the foundation of what he had already built. So
absolutely. Hey, man, I just want to take a quick moment, man. My prayers are with the women's coach, the associate head coach, Coach Pruitt, man.
Yeah.
She's been on the show. She's a friend of ours, man, and just definitely prayers out to her, man. I've spoken to her since, and I've just always had my prayers are with her, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Coach Pruitt, man, we miss her. Seeing her on campus and whatnot. I think we saw her a couple weeks ago, but yeah, no, it's she's doing well. We did see her, like I said, a couple weeks ago. She's doing well, but no, she's just a joy to be around, and watching them in practice and kind of getting to learn from her and whatnot. So no, she's great people. So
definitely, and we always, anybody that's great people like you or Coach Pruitt, is always a friend of the show, man. But one of the things outside of basketball as well, tell us about Prairie View as a university, or one of the oldest HBCUs. What type of majors does the team take, that are prevalent, or what is Prairie View known for? I think they have a good med school, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, they've got a really, really good nursing program. I know biology is, pretty prevalent major that a lot of our guys will get into. Kinesiology is another big one. Criminal justice also. A lot of our guys are criminal justice majors. And what else? Architecture, agriculture, stuff like that. Agriculture is really, really big, because I don't know. For people that haven't been to Prairie View A&M, it sits on quite a bit of land.
Yes, it does.
So
Yes, it
I don't know if
does.
you've been on 290, but it sits on quite a bit of land. So
yes,
yeah, agriculture is definitely a really big major.
my brother-in-law's he's a PV alum, so
Okay.
He's big on PV, very big, and that's even before I really got into this, he's a homecoming guy. He's big on PV, very big.
No, we were a little disappointed this year because of COVID complications and whatnot.
Yeah.
There won't be any homecoming, but no, homecoming is definitely, 5 years ago when I came to Prairie View A&M, like I really hadn't had any any experience on the HBCU side, or never really been to a homecoming at an HBCU. So I really, man, I got baptized pretty early with that. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's man, when they go all out for homecoming, they'll get, that I think a couple of the coaches told me that, they'll get between 40 and 50,000 people on campus for that. And I'm like, that kind of seems unrealistic. But man, I tell you, when that weekend comes, and they get Prairie View rocking, man.
Definitely, man. And so one of the other things you touched on something before we even talk about the school. Like, we talked about the school before we talk about the team, but I think it's awesome that you were able to come from the women's side over to the men's side, because that was going to be one of my questions. Like, so when the ball stops bouncing, and if I'm a kid that did my 4 years and I have an interest in staying with PV and being a GA, is that a possibility?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. We definitely, it's funny you asked that, because we had a kid a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, this a couple months ago, that his name was Chancellor Ellis, and he was thinking about becoming a GA and whatnot. So yeah, no, definitely. I mean, our graduate programs are really, really good. And Coach Smith, he definitely likes to keep guys that he can trust, so to speak, around his
Yes.
program. Because that's huge. You know, if you don't have trust in your program, you don't really have anything. So he likes to keep guys that kind of know his system, know how he is as a coach, and you know, he doesn't basically have to reteach them and whatnot, so to speak.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome, man. I mean, to me, that's a recruiting pitch right there. And I know that might sound cliche, but you know, people don't understand, like, if you can come to Prairie View, get your 4-year degree, your bachelor's, and then turn around and come back as a GA and get your master's, man, you know, then it's that slogan that a lot of coaches like to use. You're set for life after that, man. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
And I think that's awesome that you guys are doing that. And even just from HBCUs, because what a lot of people don't understand, like a lot of HBCUs, they're giving some kids a second chance that sometimes they couldn't get into PWIs. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's not a bad thing. Sometimes they come to Prairie View, get their 4-year degree, and then go to a PWI for a master's or whatever the case. But the thing is that HBCU gave them the chance that they might not have had before previously.
Exactly.
And you know, that's what I love about whether it's the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, the SIAC. It's those opportunities that could change kids' life. And you know, like I said, when I first got in touch with you, man, you know, I'm always, whether it's a JUCO kid, a high school kid, or a post grad kid, you know, if I think they're on their level, you know, I'm going to contact you and say, hey, man, check this guy out. You know, I think this guy might be the move for you here.
Absolutely.
You know? And, you know, I appreciate you. You know, of course, I don't want to send you any garbage where I'm wasting your time. You're like, come on, Dave. Yeah, now you're going to owe me turkey head off of this.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it'll be on you. Yeah,
seriously, man. I mean, you know, what you guys are doing there, you guys are building something special. And like I said, you said it yourself, man, your record is speaking for yourself. You don't have to go out there and sell. I mean, yes, you have to go out there and recruit, but you know, results are results at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the next question becomes, you know, for people who don't know, are you guys fortunate enough to send any guys overseas?
You know, we actually have. You know, it's funny that you asked that, because we actually, the G League, the NBA G League, just had their draft this past weekend, and one of our guys from our 2018, 2019, and he played his 2 years at Prairie View. He was at Ranger Junior College for 2 years, then he came to us, went to the NCAA tournament. Honestly, would have went to the NCAA tournament his senior year. His name's Devontae Patterson. He just got drafted into the NBA G League. So, you know, gotta, you know, played this past summer in the NBA Summer League, you know, and did well, and you know, looking for great things to come out of him in the G League. I know there's a couple other guys. Gary Blackstone comes to mind. He was an all-conference guy for us, first team all-conference. Played his 2 years after being at Angelina Junior College. He's overseas. Another guy, we've got Dennis Jones. He was another guy, another junior college kid that you know, came to us, had spent his last 2 years with us, and then he's now playing overseas. So got a really, really good plethora of guys, you know, that are playing overseas right now, and you know, fortunately, you know, hopefully some of them can test those waters and, you know, come back over to the United States, and you know, like, you know, hopefully with the Devontae situation, you know, maybe, you know, get into the NBA or whatnot. So,
but man, I asked that question, and the reason why I asked that question, because a lot of people try and discount the SWAC or the MEAC as it's not a good brand of basketball. And you know, my rebuttal to all of that is what I just asked you. Long game. Are you sending guys overseas to play professionally? And if you can say without a doubt yes, then you belong at the same table as anybody else.
No, you're absolutely right, Dave. And you know, one thing I will tell you about this, and Coach Smith, and we talk about it all the time, you know, and you know, and unfortunately, kind of what you're talking about, you know, we hear it a lot that, you know, it's not a great brand of basketball and whatnot. But I think if you do your research and you look at our schedule, so to speak, we don't have too many schools in Texas that are wanting to play us. And we weren't, you know, and not to brag or anything like that, but it wasn't easy scheduling all 13 of our non-conference games that we have, because we're not a whole bunch of people really don't want to play us and whatnot. So, we had some difficulty with it. I'm in our scheduling in our non-conference, but it definitely is a struggle day to day, but our schedule will be tough, but I know, like you said, it's just, you gotta, for people that don't think it's a great brand of basketball, I think that I wouldn't say it's so much not a great brand of basketball. I think people kind of look at it as kind of an extension of junior college, so to speak.
Yeah.
Where it's, faster pace and whatnot, and, playing at that, but undisciplined. But, the one thing that Coach Smith and we kind of build on and whatnot, it's not, I don't ever wake up in the morning and say, man, I'm an HBCU coach. We look at everything that we do. We're a Division I program, and everything we do, we run our program like a Division I. We have, film like film sessions like a Division I. Our scouts, the lady that I work for, at Prairie View A&M on the women's side, I mean, she came from the University of Houston, and our scouts look just like theirs. So, I mean, it's just, so that's so to speak. So, everything we do it just like a Division I program.
Oh yeah, I mean, hands down. I mean, you guys do it like a Division I program, and also you're winning, man. And that's what it really comes down to. You guys are winning, and you're doing a great job of this, man. And when I first connected with you, I was like, oh man, I got to get him on the show, because I want people to understand, what this is. Like, Prairie View is the real deal. And the other thing, I always like to say this, and I want to tease you about this a little bit too. Man, you guys got the cheat code with them Jucos out there, bro. Man, y'all got the cheat code.
Yeah.
I was just in Dallas. You were in Dallas, right?
Yeah. I think I thought, yeah.
So, you were in Dallas, and man, I was talking about that earlier in the show. So this year was my first year going to Dallas for the Juco. Juco one. I went to Oklahoma City this year. I went to Dallas. I went to Orlando. And I went to Carbondale in Birmingham this year. Man, when I walked in there, I was just like, I felt like a kid. I mean, because, number one, I love the game. But when I walked in, I was like, oh, my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah, no.
And, I was texting Dre that was just on here. I was like, man, you got to see this. This is crazy. And, the level of games, seeing the Dodge Cities, seeing the Coffeevilles, seeing all the big boys out there that you always hear about, the Odessas, and, teams that have produced pros. I was like, oh, man, I was texting some of my friends back home in Pittsburgh, like, man, guy, you got to see this. This is the real deal here.
Yeah.
And, for you to be able to, quite honestly, be able to pick off some of them kids from Region 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no question.
And look, that's why I'm like, man, y'all cheap, man. I was like, those are some great Jucos there. I mean, for you to be able to have Jucos, and, of course, I mean, you got Dallas, you got Houston, you got San Antonio, you got some good players in Austin as well. And that's not to discount the rest of Texas and outside of Texas that you recruit as well. I mean, you guys got some really, really good options there to recruit from, so to speak. Some really good options. And the fact that you all are a great HBCU as well. And you know what? Let me take that off. The fact that you all are a great university, period. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it honest. Like, I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, man, Prairie View has some great programs up there. Like you said, coming off of 290, when I was driving up to Texas A&M, I was like, gosh, where is this place? But when I saw it, I was like, oh, man, this is nice. I was like, once you get on campus, and when I saw the arena, I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, no, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
I was like, okay, Prairie View, they putting some money into this program.
Oh, no question. One of the things I learned early in my career, Dave, is anytime you see construction on a college campus, that's always good, because that means there's development, and the campus is growing and is building. So, man, it's sometimes you'll get a little bit of extra traffic on campus and whatnot because of the construction workers and construction that's going on. But no, it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. And they're building, like we touched on earlier in the show. There's a lot of land on Prairie View's campus, and the thing about it is, it's they're building on it. So kind of faster than what I think they expected to, but no, it's a great place to work, great administration, just everything in general.
That room for growth there. I mean, there's definitely plenty of room for growth, but man, you guys are growing. When my sisters first got there, when they first moved to Houston, 2003 or 4, in that range. And in that time, that 17, 18 years, man, whew, I mean, you guys are growing exponentially. And I'm like, hey, salute to what Prairie View is doing out there. But man, let's go ahead and get into your squad for this year, man. Look like you guys got some killers ready for this year, man. Man.
Well, I mean, it would be nice to, I think we're ready to start playing against somebody else. We've been practicing, it seems like, for 6 months straight now, but definitely ready to play against somebody new. The guys are working really, really hard in practice. But yeah, no, we did a really good job in recruiting, we feel. Hopefully they don't let us down, but I don't think they will. They're a hard-working group, but no, they get after it every day. And we're just, Dave, we bring a lunch pail mentality every day.
That's my mentality right there. I'm from Pittsburgh, so that mentality is right up my alley right there. That type of mentality will get you far. That never quit type attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, and like you said, I mean, it kind of all goes into what we're talking about. I mean, with recruiting junior college guys and whatnot, and the transfer portal being like it is and whatnot. And a lot of the questions that we'll get asked, well, why do we recruit so many transfers? Well, if you look at our schedule and whatnot, the guys that we bring in, they have to be ready to produce at a high level from the get-go, because, we start off, we play St. Mary's on the 9th. Then, the 11th, we play San Francisco. Then we go, the 13th, we play the University of Michigan. They're top 10 ranked team in the country.
Man, who made y'all schedule? Jesus.
Yeah.
Man.
No, to be honest with you, it was, so one of our coaches, Coach Moore, he took a job at Lamar, and he was the one who's in charge of scheduling. And then, but I think when he went to Lamar, I think 4 games had been scheduled, and then I had to kind of come up and clean up the rest. So, I guess they can put that blame on me for that one, but no, we'll be tested early, man. So
But your strength of schedule, nobody will be able to talk about your strength of schedule.
No, we're going to get challenged early.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to get challenged early. And, like you said, I mean, it's just, you got to have guys that are willing and wanting to come in and compete right away. I mean, we with our schedule and the way it is, I mean, we can't have guys that we're, waiting to develop and stuff like that. You can have a couple of them, and we do have some guys in our program that, we develop, and we, of course, with every program, that they've got to come with the time and whatnot. But, we've got, we feel like we've got a solid 8 or 9 guys, 8, 9, 10 guys that can come in and be able to produce and compete, at a high level from the get-go.
Man, what you just said, man, when I say you have just hit something on the head, like, we all understand that are in this whole, arena, understand that you guys are looking for now. That's why you're looking for transfer portal. That's why you're looking for Juco. You know what I'm saying? Even though, I said I tease you about that, but that's the lay of the land right now, the way college basketball is. So, we try and explain to our AAU guys, hey, man, listen, it's slim pickings right now for you guys.
Yeah.
So either you're going to have to go post-grad or you're going to have to go Juco. A lot of you all, if you're trying to attain a Prairie View, or you're trying to attain any mid-major or high major, it's just not in the cards because you guys are second and third in line. Well, really fourth. You're talking transfer portal. You're talking JUCO. Nowadays, you're talking international players.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And, you're talking post grad. After
yeah,
that, then you're talking high school. So you're fifth class citizens. So you better have one. You better have those grades.
yeah,
And number
yeah,
two, you better have another option because, man, people don't understand, like going to Dallas and seeing that type of JUCO basketball,
mm-hmm.
that's high major basketball right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
And a lot of those kids, like some of those kids I remember from high school that were out there.
yeah,
Some of them did okay because it was their second year of being adjusted to that. Them first year kids was looking like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? It's a shock to the system. And I wouldn't knock a kid because it takes some time for them to get adjusted to JUCO basketball. Because quite honestly, man, some of them kids are willing to kill you to get on. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
no question. Junior college, Dave. I tell you, man, junior college has a special place in my heart. It's just because I coached 4 years at the junior college level, and it's just,
Okay.
man, junior college will do two things to you. It will either make you or it'll break you.
Yeah.
Because it's you kind of have those 2 years, and you basically. I mean, you've got to do the most with those 2 years, and every night you're competing for a scholarship. I mean,
And that's what it is right there. Every night you're competing for a scholarship. You couldn't have said it better right there, man.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, some kids are thinking, oh, well, I used to average 25 in high school. I could turn it on and off when I feel like it. No, that's not the case at all. If you don't come every day, like you say, with your lunch pail, you're going to be sadly mistaken.
Yeah, no, it's an adjustment too. And I know coaching at the junior college level, because when when I was at the junior college that at Trinity Valley Community College, I was on the women's side, and
okay,
we used to recruit some of the best high school kids in the country that didn't make it. So we and the thing about that is there's a wall that every high school kid is going to hit, because it's an adjustment. I mean, you're in high school, you have, you go to school 8 to 3, 3 o'clock, you practice, 5 o'clock, you're out, you go home, you live your life and whatnot. But, when you get to college, it's a little bit different. And, time management comes into play.
Yes.
You've got to, now you've got workouts in the morning, you've got weights, you've got study hall, then you got to go to class, then, you just got so many other factors that play into going to college. And, it's just, like we always say, at the junior college level, man, it's just not for the weak and uncommitted. But
amen to that. Amen to that, man. I mean, like I say, that's just a whole nother animal right there. But man, let's get into your roster for this year, man. What you got coming in? What do you have returning? Do you have any all conference kids? Tell me about Prairie View's roster this year.
So returning, we've got Jawan Daniels. He was actually last week. He was picked SWAC preseason player of the year. He averaged 15 and 7 last year. Did a really, really good job for us. So we're expecting big things out of him. Okay. He played really, really well for us. Jawan's been a huge success story on and off the court for us. Then we've got Jeremiah Gambrell. He's, Coach Smith always jokes with him. Jeremiah, catch and shoot 3-point shooter, man. He's never seen a shot that he does not like. So we actually had an inter squad scrimmage on Saturday, and he led all scorers. So his game's really improved. He's doing really good. We're expecting big things out of him. Another guy that we've got coming back, kind of our older statesman, so to speak. His name's Faith Williams. He's been with us 4 years. Probably has a chance, honestly, with getting COVID back. So he's got 2 more years to play. Will be the winningest player in our program to come out of our program when it's all said and done. Okay. And Faith, to speak on Faith, because Faith is, to be honest with you, is kind of the heart and soul of our program. Coach Smith, brought Faith in, when he was a freshman. He was a preferred walk-on when he came, did 2 years as a walk-on. I mean, played every day. I mean, he hardest playing guy, just plays super, super hard. Just, kind of that lunch pail mentality, brought that every day, came, practices hard every day. And the thing with Faith now, even now, he's a scholarship guy for us. Faith still practices, and no disrespect to walk-ons, but he brings that mentality every day. He's got a chip on his shoulder, like he's got something to prove. So Faith is definitely kind of the glue guy for us and the core for our program. Some of our new guys that we got coming in, we signed a couple of junior college kids from Tallahassee Community College, D'Angelo Ware, lightning quick guard, looks to get downhill, had a really, really good junior college career, average about 10 points over at Tallahassee Community College. And they were a top 5 junior college.
Yeah, they're a great program. They're a definitely great program.
No, they're really, really good. Got another post player, 6'6", post player from Tallahassee Community College. His name is Jeremiah Kendall. Man, I tell you, Dave, he's probably been the biggest surprise for us. We knew he was good. We didn't know he was this good. I'll be talking with coach or our staff and whatnot and just joke around. But I mean, to be honest with you, man, when he gets the ball inside, he scores it about every time he catches it. So he's done well. He's been really good in our preseason practice. We've got a couple grad transfers, one from SMU, his name Will Douglas, had a really, really good career there. So expecting big things from him. Another guy, he's a transfer from Sanford, averaged 15 and 10 over at Sanford. His name's Christian Guest. He's a super talented individual. We're expecting big things out of him. And then we got another kid. His name is Marquedrick Bell. He was an in-conference guy for us. He actually played at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay.
And, he's just high motor, high energy, runs the floor like a deer, jumps out of the gym, can really rebound the ball. And like I said, when we had our inter-squad scrimmage on Saturday, he was really, really good for us. So he's a guy that's, about a 7-7 type guy, but just high energy, high motor, just comes in, just really fun-loving kid, always got a smile on his face, just good energy, positive energy to be around. And then one returner I forgot to mention, another guy that we got coming back. His name's Dwayne Cox. Dwayne doesn't get a whole lot of the credit, but I'll tell anybody this, and I'll put him up against anybody. Dwayne is probably the best on-ball defender in the country. He's a super on-ball defender. We kind of, I don't know if you watched this play, but we'll have situations where we'll go offense, defense, and whatnot, and Dwayne, man, he is he's just he's an elite defender. Elite defender. So he's great. But that kind of, tells you a little bit about our roster and whatnot. But like I said, they've been working hard, man, and it's been a really good preseason. Hopefully, we got our games coming up here in a couple weeks. So, just working hard every day. But we're expecting really, really good things out of this group.
So you guys sounds like you guys are going about 10 deep then.
Yeah, we've got, Coach, we joke about it every day. It's either a good thing or a bad thing. So, but it'll be interesting. We've got a close scrimmage coming up on Saturday.
Okay.
So it'll be good to kind of see how, some rotations and whatnot and see what we got. But no, it'll be good for us. But like I said, in practice, they've been working really, really hard. Great bunch of guys. Just really looking forward to the season.
Man, definitely, man. I know me and Dre are, man, depending on what your schedule looks like up there, I'm gonna take a peek at your schedule, because if you guys are playing while we're there, man, we may try and catch a game while we're there, man. Definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll have to do that. Just make sure we won't have turkey leg hut.
Well, listen, that's really Dre. I'm a Frenchies guy. I'm telling you now.
Man, hey, that's another one. Hey, I tell you what, we had Frenchies last year when we played Texas Southern. It was our post game meal. You can't eat that stuff before the game because we would have been no good. But that was our post game meal, and man, I tell you what, you need to get in line over there too early because
You're talking about the one over by Texas Southern, right?
Yes,
absolutely, yeah. So I mean, man, I love coming to Houston. You know, outside, you know, the food, and you know, my sisters are there. You know, I'm familiar with you guys, and man, just Houston has a great bunch of programs there. You got Prairie View, you got Houston, you got Texas Southern, you got Rice, you got Houston Baptist, and what's the NAIA program there? St.
Thomas.
St. Thomas,
Thomas
there. So you got a good brand of college basketball there, and right there, and then even a little further out, you got Sam Houston as well, man. So I mean, people understand Houston has some good basketball there, and you know, no discount to anybody, but you guys are right up there with, you know, Houston, and you know, Texas Southern is a great program as well, man. You know, not to discount them as well. You guys are really the pillar of the SWAC for basketball, man.
Yeah, no, Texas Southern, man, they're definitely a really bright spot in our league, and you know, we look forward to playing them. You know, they're our in-town rival, crosstown rival, you know, whatever you want to call it. But it's you know, there's nothing like that rivalry. You know, it's, you know, I tell people all the time, the city of Houston kind of stops when we play each other. It's you know, we're both doing really, really well. Coach, you know, Johnny Jones, he's done great over there. You know, they've got another loaded roster this year. So we're definitely looking forward.
That's the game I want to go to.
Yeah,
I would rather go to the game with Prairie View, because if I go to one Texas Southern, I might be late with a little bit of chicken in my hand.
Yeah.
So I you know, like I said, you guys are doing great, man. I mean, you guys, man. I mean, Prairie View is a great university where people have to understand, like, don't sleep on Prairie View, please. And you know, I wanted to bring you on just to say, hey, listen to what they're doing at Prairie View, man. I mean, I don't have to sell you guys, because, you know, it's not like you guys are some up and coming program. You guys are here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just really a question of, are you going to the NCAA or are you going to the NIT? That's where you guys are at right now. The expectation is, you know, you guys are trying to get to the NCAA every year, but you are a perennial power that's going to be playing postseason more than likely. And that's what I like to see in you guys, and I respect about you guys. And to be honest, you guys are out on the recruiting trail. Like, I see Prairie View. I see Prairie View in Dallas. I see Prairie View out there trying to get some of these top players as well. So like you said, it's not like you guys are not running a D1 program. You are running a quality D1 program.
No.
And I commend you guys for that, man. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to get Dre up there, man, and, you know, get him on campus so we can see, you know, so he can see Prairie View and what's it about, man. And I can't wait to see you guys play. Like I said, I'm serious. I want to see that rivalry game. I love HBCU rivalry games.
Oh no, there's none like it. It's definitely one to go to. You know, like I said, when I first came to Prairie View, you know, people had talked about it. I had heard about it a little bit, you know, being in Texas and whatnot. But you know, it's a little extra when it's a rivalry, and you know, when it's your crosstown rivalry, it's definitely something to go into that. But no, we're super excited about this season, and you know, we're definitely looking forward to it.
I got one last question for you, and I think this is interesting as well. And, you know, it's just your take on it. What do you think about the SWAC starting to hire some of these big name coaches like a Deion Sanders and a lot of these big names that are starting to come to the SWAC? What do you think about that?
You know, I think it's really, really good for our league. You know, I think, you know, it promotes our league. You know, because, you know, I'll be honest. You know, what Deion has been able to do at Jackson State, I mean, I don't, you know, I know there's other quality coaches out there, and I'm no discredit to anybody out there, you know, what Deion's been able to do at Jackson State. I mean, like, look at their. I mean, they had a sellout football
Yeah,
team, you know,
man.
for their
Yeah.
homecoming. I mean, just able to do that, and what he's able to bring to that university, and you know, and credit to their athletic director. You know, Ashley Robinson. He was actually he used to be at Prairie View A&M, and
Oh,
he you
wow.
know he took his talents over to Jackson State and whatnot. And I mean, he's you know that man. Honestly, I'll tell anybody that. I mean, he's a genius, and just you know his planning and what you know his visions for programs and whatnot. So yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, you know, like the hiring of Deion Sanders, and then you know you've got Mo Williams at Alabama State. You know,
Yeah. You
so
got
you
Lindsey
know,
Hunter at
yeah, Lindsey
Mississippi
Hunter
Valley. Yeah.
at Mississippi Valley, and Reggie Theus. You know, he played in the
Yeah,
NBA.
Bethune-Cookman. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. What
yeah.
do you think about Bethune and Fam coming to the SWAC?
Man, you know, it's definitely it definitely makes our season a little more difficult because you know you had two quality opponents, but no,
Yeah.
I think it's great, man. It'll be great, except for 2 games out of the year.
I
Yeah,
hear
no,
you.
we love it. It's just the only time we won't like them is you know when we got to play against them. But no, they you know FAMU they've done a really really good job with their program. He's a really really good coach over there. I know Coach Theus over at Bethune-Cookman. I know they've been really really good. You know Bethune-Cookman's been good in the past.
Yeah,
You
they,
know,
they start once they start grabbing them JUCO kids, everything
yeah,
changed.
yeah. No, no, it definitely has helped out their program and whatnot. But no, there'll be two tough opponents this year in our league. So
One last tough question, and it's not really tough. I kind of got a feeling how you're gonna answer this. Do you feel the SWAC is the best HBCU conference, hands down?
you know, not to be biased, but you know, and like I said, no disrespect to the MEAC. I think you know they're both two really really good conferences. You know, I would say. You know, I hate to be biased, but in my opinion, yeah, I would say yes. The SWAC probably is the stronger of the two HBCU conferences. But you know, you've got you know, I would not take anybody lightly in the MEAC. You know, I
Oh
think
no.
you know
Norfolk
it's
State is a
oh
quality
yeah,
program.
yeah,
They're
no,
tough.
no, and I think you know, and the only thing with that kind of separates us with you know from the MEAC now, I would say is probably just the amount of teams that's in each league. You know, we have 12 where they have 8, but you know, you've got North Carolina Central. You know, they've done a really
Oh
really
yeah,
good job. Yeah,
Coach Moten, definitely a great coach. Definitely
yeah,
a great coach.
yeah. No, they've done a great job, and you know, like I tell you this, I mean, you know, we you know like I'll tell you this, Dave. Like some people like we're not you know the favorite to get on some people's schedule. We're not. We're definitely not. We're not trying to schedule a MEAC school as well. So you know, so it definitely works both ways. But yeah, you got North Carolina Central, you got Norfolk State. I mean, you got Morgan State. They've been really really good. You know,
Yeah.
Maryland Eastern Shores. I know they've got a really good recruiting class. So no, it's yeah. You know, Howard has been. You know, they're on the uphill. So no,
So and I want your take on this. And while we're talking about this, with the MEAC being where it is, and I love the MEAC. What do you think about the SWAC and MEAC merging and just making it like a super
super.
conference?
Yeah, yeah. No, it. That definitely would be interesting. That definitely would be interesting. You know, I don't know how excited we'd be to play North Carolina Central and Norfolk State and them, but yeah, can we keep them out? But yeah, no, I mean, you know, we definitely would be open to that. I don't know if it would happen, but you know, kind of making it like a super conference. You could have
Yeah,
like a East West,
yeah,
you know, so definitely would be open to that. I think that would be great. You know, they may be heading to that. You know, with the addition of Florida A&M and
yeah.
Bethune-Cookman. So
We'll see. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. For the people that didn't know about Prairie View, they got a chance to see you up close and personal. And, for our listeners, the ones that are out there listening, man, Prairie View is a valuable option. Trust me. They're not. It's not even about them being on the come up. They are one of the perennial SWAC schools, and now that they're the perennial SWAC school, along with Texas Southern on the basketball side, hey man, listen, Coach said it earlier. Teams don't want to schedule Prairie View and fear getting knocked off early.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. That's just what it is. And man, I commend what you guys are doing out there. I know my brother-in-law is going to go crazy watching this as him being a PV alum. And, man, I can't wait to get out there and, us link up. And I definitely want to see that PV Texas Southern game because I've seen – I love seeing rivalry games, and I've never seen that one before, and that's on my bucket list to see.
No, it's a great one. I tell you what, man, you definitely take a look at our schedule, and I tell you this, Dave, you and Dre, you guys are welcome anytime. Just we'll definitely have to link up once you guys get to Houston, and I know we talked about those high school games coming up in November and whatnot. We'll definitely be at those games because I think I saw a flyer about them earlier in the week. But
yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there. So
yeah, that you definitely want to see that Wheeler Duncanville game. That game's going to be. I know that's probably going to be a sellout because you got two of the best teams, one of the best teams in Texas and one of the best teams in Georgia.
Yeah,
Wheeler's our two-time state champ for 6A, and they can go. They got a couple D1 guys, so I'm sure you'll have your notebook and pad for that game. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No. Yeah. So no, we're super excited.
Definitely. Hey man, I appreciate you coming on, man. And man, the door is always open for you to come on the show, at any time, man. I appreciate it, man. Okay.
Well, I appreciate you, Dave. It's been an honor to be on your show, and I really appreciate it. And we'll definitely look forward to having you guys down here in Houston sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Remember, we'll be at Frenchie's. So.
Yeah, that goes without saying. We're gonna be at Frenchie's. That comes before Turkey Leg Hut. I'm sorry, Greg. Yeah, Frenchie's comes first. And trust me, he's a chicken guy too. So trust me, he'll be all on board for that one. Trust me.
Okay.
All right, man. You take care, man. I appreciate you. All right.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Hey, man, that's Coach Robinson from Prairie View University, man. I'm telling you guys, you can't sleep on SWAC basketball. You can't sleep on HBCU basketball, whether it be SWAC or MEAC. He just said it himself. Norfolk State and, North Carolina Central are great programs as well as a few others in the MEAC as well. I like to give this platform to everybody so they can see what it is out here. HBCU D1, HBCU D2, low D1, low D2, high D1, high D2, mid-majors, D3, NAI. We had our first Juco D2 coach on here for you people that aren't familiar with Juco D2. And we're going to keep pressing this envelope to educate you guys on all options college basketball wise. At some point, I'm really going to rock the boat and get a Canadian college coach on here. So you guys that have never heard of Canadian colleges, I'm going to bring one of them on here. You're like, what? Hey, no stone unturned. We're going to keep doing this. And, education and knowledge is the big thing about this show. Next week, we got some good coaches coming on. Coach White that couldn't make it on today. We're going to have him on next week, as well as some other good coaches. We have a D2 women's coach that's going to be on next week as well. Again, I want to shout out the Prep South Conference. Excellent job you guys did down there. Quite honestly, I'm proud of y'all, man. You guys pulled it off, and it looked good. To be honest, it looked good. For Lawson State as well. Hey, man. Shout out to Lawson State pulling their Juco event. Awesome event. Coaches there. Kids got seen. Kids got offers. Great look on you guys' part. And I'm sure next year is probably going to be even bigger. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight. As always, I appreciate you guys coming on as episode 33. We're going to keep rocking this thing and keep building this whole platform. And I just appreciate you guys so much. We'll catch you guys next week, and everybody have a good evening. You take care.